U.S. stocks are higher this Thursday after the Federal Reserve expectedly cut rates by 25 basis points, but was not expected, well, Jerome Powell's demeanor at the press conference after. Man, I want to take this guy down to Atlantic City. What did you think about him dodging those questions?
Well, we've seen that more and more from the Fed. I think a lot of their stuff has been kind of confusing as a whole. A lot of people read it as quite hawkish, and I'm not so certain it was. That's why we saw really a muted reaction to a highly anticipated Fed announcement. And we really didn't see much action. The market traded down and then traded back to flat. And we're trading more today on the fact that U.S. China, the envoys are getting together for some high-level discussions. I think that's why this market is rallying more so than what the Fed had to do yesterday.
Has anything changed with the U.S.-China negotiations?
Other than the fact that they're meeting, and I think they're finally realizing that they both need to get a deal done. It's not about face saving anymore. It's about the fact that it needs to get done. We saw some comments out of FedEx yesterday that really ruined the transports, and a lot of that was predicated on the fact that they're not sure this trade war is now affecting them, and they can actually quantify it, and that's why you saw them get pummeled yesterday.
Is FedEx one of the best leading indicators when it comes to looking at stocks related to a recession or what global trade is doing?
It may be. It may have had more of an impact. One of the companies that you're going to want to look at now is probably Amazon, which is now maybe, are they using Amazon or UPS as a conduit to, ship all their stuff. So yes, I think effectively it's probably something that you're really going to want to watch. And when they have an announcement such as they had, and you see the reaction the stock took, you got to pay notice to that.
Yeah, and they did mention that they lost share from Amazon, or their contract with Amazon, and that really hurt them as well. What do you think about Microsoft, that major buyback program, upping dividends by 11%? Is that what they should be doing with that money?
I'm not going to tell anyone what to do with their money. Apple's doing the same thing. These major companies have a big cash hoard. Not so long ago, Microsoft was languishing in 20 and 30. You go back a few years. And now they're 140. Now they're issuing a $40 billion buyback. It's great for the company. It's great for the shareholder. And if they can't find a deal to put into place with that money, why not give it back to the shareholder and reinvest it in the company? Then you could use that capital going forward to buy a company if you find some kind of value.
Yeah, I never understand why people have a problem with that. Well, I guess I could kind of see it, but hey, when there's a buyback program, the shares always go up, so they should be celebrating.
Yeah, listen, if you're a shareholder, if you're the company and you have an extra $40 billion to lie around, why aren't you investing in yourself if you think you're that good? And so I don't have a problem with companies doing it necessarily either.
Hear that, Microsoft? We don't have a problem with you. What we do have a problem with is the closing out of summer, although fall in the city is so wonderful. Matt, what are your expectations as we finish the last trading session of the third quarter next week?
Yeah, what's interesting is now we need to see more companies come out if there is a problem with the China trade. You can't hide this anymore. You've now had a couple quarters now to kind of diminish it. So you cannot have this surprise on your balance sheet coming forward and saying, you know what, this is really affecting us because you've had that out. So you're going to be punished if you don't do that. So that's what you're going to want to watch for. You've got a little bit more clarity from the Fed, although, now we're 7-3 as far as the rate cut cycles. So it's trending toward maybe we won't see something in December now, and if we don't get a recession in, staring us in the face, yield, the 10-year yield has rallied here a little bit. So there's a lot, and the economic data has been pretty good. The Fed says it's been pretty good, and they said they're going to look at that going forward. So I think you really need to focus on what the company has to say based on China, and if you disappoint, you're going to get punished, just like FedEx did.
That about says it all. Don't disappoint. Okay, we're watching you here. That's Matt Cheslock from Virtu Financial.